Hey everyone, so I'm here at my house just doing a quick test with a new lens that I got. It's the Sony G Master 50mm 1.2. So I'm mostly going to be using this lens for interview setups, just kind of really wanting to isolate the subject, the talent, and have a really creamy background, essentially. So I'm testing it at 1.2, just trying to see if it would work, just trying to see the results and kind of what it would look like in comparison to my other lenses that I have been using for the last, I don't know, 6 months to a year, probably closer to 6 months. I've been using the Tamron 35 to 150 for just about everything. And I've kind of missed having a really compressed background with like a prime lens. So like a 1.4, 1.2, 1.8. I've been kind of stuck at 2.2 on that lens, or 2.8, depending on which focal length. So I'm experimenting a little bit with prime lenses again. I used to shoot everything prime, but just for convenience sake, I went to a zoom lens. So I'm looking to get back into shooting interviews with primes. So I'm really interested. I have a shoot next week, so I'm just trying to run a couple tests and just make sure shooting at 1.2, if it's gonna be sharp or what it's gonna look like. I've been in so many situations where the background has not been good, and it would have been nice to just have that all kind of fall off. Not every shoot I'll use it at 1.2, but typically if I don't like the location, then I just make everything blurry. So that's been my go-to, is just, if it's not a good location, just making it fall off in the background as much as possible, isolating the subject. But yeah, I think this is gonna work. I have my son in the director's chair, kind of testing out the lighting and everything. I'm using an aperture 600D. I think it's dialed into like 2%. It's pretty sunny out right now, so I'm trying to compensate for that. But I don't mind if it's blowing out a little bit. It's not very pretty out there right now, so it's okay if it's blown out. But then I'm also using just a quick and dirty tube light as kind of a kicker hair light. But yeah, this is super quick, simple test between the 50 and the 35 to 150. But yeah, I have a director's monitor set up so I can really dial in the image and just see it on a bigger screen. I'll show you guys the footage here in a second. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you guys shoot with like a prime lens for interviews, or do you guys shoot with a zoom lens at a lower aperture, like a 2.8? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. And just like that, Sony released a 50mm 1.4 G Master the day after I had purchased my Sony 50mm 1.2. So that's definitely what happens working in this industry. As soon as you buy something, it feels like it's outdated the next day. But it's all good. I'm still happy I went with the 1.2. I feel like they didn't really change too much in the 1.4. I think the 1.2 has 4 focus motors and the 1.4 has 2 focus motors or something like that, just to save a little bit on cost. And obviously it's a 1.4 versus 1.2. I haven't really seen too much of a difference besides the price at this point. So I'll definitely be holding on to the 1.2. But yeah, just thought timing was hilarious on that one. So here's some example shots of comparing the two lenses. I compared the Sony 50mm 1.2 G Master to the Tamron 35 to 150 f2 to 2.8. And I was pleasantly surprised by the results. I feel like they were extremely close. which is props to the Tamron zoom. I just feel like that's such a great lens, having that focal range, 35 to 150, and having it be a variable aperture is not too bad. I mean, 2 to 2.8, there's not that much of a difference. But the 50 1.2, I think it looks great. I will probably never shoot wide open like this. I feel like it might be a little bit too much separation. Some environments I'll want to shoot at 1.2 just to really make the background fall off if I'm in an ugly location for sure. But I was just surprised on how sharp this lens is at 1.2. I mean, cropping in at 200%, the eyes are tack sharp, which is a great combination with the Sony lineup. The eye auto focus is amazing, and you can set the sensitivity too, so it doesn't pulse or anything like that. As you can tell in the video, it's holding focus pretty well on his eye. And of course, my son here, it's hard for an 8-year-old to stay still for longer than a few minutes, so we are really testing the autofocus function here. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think and what your process is. I'm very interested to hear from other people and see what works for them. But yeah, thanks for listening to me ramble for a little bit on lenses, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.